Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, guys. Before I start, of course, you know the drill. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video. It would be lovely if you guys can do that for me. Thank you so much, guys. Let's get into a little bit of Man United news, guys, because that's why we're all here. Thank you, everyone, by the way. Don't forget to smash a like on the way in, guys. We need to get up to the minimum, the threshold of what's it? Threshold of 50 likes per stream, guys, especially Breaking Dawn. So we do that, guys. But let's get straight into some Manchester United news, of course, guys. Maybe some transfer news, of course. Now, there was rumours circulating over the last 24 hours. I heard it first from Ben Jacobs, guys, that Manchester United are interested in Tyler Adams. Now, Tyler Adams of Bournemouth, I have mentioned on the show before, guys, before Ben mentioned it, I have mentioned him before on the show. He is on Manchester United's wish list come January, come the summer, guys. Not in January, but come the summer. We could explore a possibility of doing a deal for Tyler Adams in January, but it does look more likely that is a 2026 transfer that Man United could be doing. Now, a little bit about Tyler Adams. Tyler Adams is a centre-back. He can play, Tyler Adams is a central midfielder, should I say, CDM. Can play right back as well, 26 years old, currently playing for Bournemouth. He started out at New York Red Bulls, went on to Leipzig, and then went on to Leeds. Was part of the Red Bull company, of course, New York Red Bulls and RB Leipzig, Red Bull Leipzig, of course. And then went on to Leeds United, where he made his name in English football. And look, he's valued at around 25 million. So when you're looking at the player like Tyler Adams, you're looking at a player that is going to represent a cheaper option for Manchester United. He will be a cheaper option. I mean, I know this is frustrating for everyone, obviously, because it's Glazonomics, isn't it? That we go after the cheaper players. That's what we do. We're cheapskates and stuff like that. We go after the cheaper players. But one thing I would say is this, right? I don't mind what we spend if the player is good, right? If the player is good, I don't mind what we spend. But obviously, the more you spend on a player, the better player you're going to get. Now, Tyler Adams has done fantastically well for Bournemouth. Of course, he scored that great goal from the halfway line, if we remember that. Very, very good goal, of course. International of USA, of course. And look, guys, what I would say is that, a new player off the block, something I've mentioned before, though, and a player that could possibly come to Manchester United. And, when we're looking at realistic options in January, this is a realistic option because it's not going to absolutely break the bank. This is something that Man United can get. Man United can possibly afford in January, of course, guys. We can possibly afford this in January, of course. And that's what we say. And it is all about being smart with our money, being shrewd, being mature and stuff like that. Now, look, that doesn't mean Man United, if Man United sign Tyler Adams in January, Man United are not going to go after the likes of Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton and stuff like that in the summer, because quite possibly we're going to do that. And I hope we do. But we do need some players, obviously, with the squad being so thin. We do need players, guys. It's very important that Man United fill up this squad because the squad, it is very weak, guys. It really is very weak, of course. So what I would say is that, look, Tyler Adams to Manchester United. Would you be happy with that deal, guys? Let me know, of course, guys. Absolutely. Now, lots of rumours are circulating, of course, about Semenyo. Semenyo has been linked to Man United over this last season. It's like last few months, it's been quite potent in regards to the rumours surrounding Semenyo, Antoine Semenyo. Now, Manchester United. Now, I've changed my stance, guys, because I do that. That's what life is. You change your stance sometimes. I believe if Man United signs Semenyo, it would be great if we had him on the left. Now, of course, Semenyo has openly said he doesn't want to play on the left. I just want to reiterate, right? He doesn't want to be a left wing back, all right? So this is the whole situation here. He's not a number 10. He's not a number 10. I would argue that with anyone. He hasn't got the kind of eye of the needle finesse that you need to be a number 10 for like Acuna and like, for example. But I do believe he'll be an absolutely phenomenal left wing or right wing for Man United. He would be. If Man United could convince Semenyo to play the left wing or the right wing and act as an attacker, I think, you know what, it will be a great buy. But if we're just buying Semenyo for the sake of buying Semenyo because we want him as a number 10, then I don't think it's worth it. I don't think Man United should sign him because we've already got Cunha and Mbeumo, and we don't need a good player sitting on the bench who's valued around 70 million, of course, plus, of course, guys. So this is very important. It is important that if we do sign Semenyo, he acts as like a wing back, a left wing or right wing, of course, guys. So Man United theoretically don't really play wing backs. We play wingers, don't we? So if that was the case, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind Man United bringing in Semenyo to the football club if he was going to play in that position. I don't want Man United bringing in a player because he's a shiny new toy. Play him at number 10. It's just a waste of 65 to 70 million in which we can use to fix our midfield, of course, guys, which needs to be fixed, which is the most important thing. We have to think maturely. If he could play left wing, right? If he could play right wing, if he could do that, then great. I won't mind Semenyo. But if he plays as a number, if he's coming in to be a number 10, it's not happening for me. Absolutely not. And don't give me that false number 9 business because he's not that. He is a winger. He's a traditional winger, and he's more potent on that wing than he is as a number 10, guys. Absolutely. Now, a Stretford Post exclusive was before when I mentioned him, and many people know that I mentioned this player a couple of times now. His name is Dell, not Dell Computer. I know we know about it's not Dell Boy. It's not the Dell computers. It's none of that. It's Dell. He's a Brazilian under-17s international. 13 caps, 7 goals, by the way. The centre forward, 17 years old, who I've been speaking about over the last few weeks. I spoke about him, I think, first on Stretford Post, of course, only a few weeks ago. He's a 17-year-old, 13 caps for the Brazil under-17s, 7 goals, guys. Bahia under-20 player, of course. And look, guys, when you're looking at up-and-coming players from Brazil, from South America in general, Del does really fit the bill. And definitely, he is a very, very good player for his age. And look, it does represent a risk whenever you bring in young players, you bring in for Brazil and stuff. But this guy, when you're looking at Brazilian football, Brazil hasn't produced the amount of talent that it used to. When I was growing up, Brazil used to have a conveyor belt of young players coming through every single time, you know. And, Del represents something different now of the recent narrative. I think he's come through and he's doing very well. 13 caps, 7 goals for the under-17 Brazil is no mean feat. And we can't discount that. We can't just ignore that. So Del to Manchester United is something that Man United could do in the summer. Is obviously a future superstar, another young player off the conveyor belt that Man United are looking at, because we are kind of looking at a mixture of things at the moment. And we are looking at young players. We're looking at players in their early 20s, mid-20s maximum, of course, guys. The news about Sergio Ramos, just ignore that nonsense. Man United are not going to bring in a 39-year-old Sergio Ramos unless they want him as a coach. So at the end of the day, Del fits the bill, 17 years old, centre forward, Bahia player, Bahia under 21, only 2 appearances for Bahia. He is new. He is a new kid on the block, so to speak. He is new at the moment. He is coming through only recently, of course, guys. 13 caps for Brazil under 21s, under 17s, and 7 goals, guys. So he's already got the signs, guys, of being extremely prolific for his age. And we have to look at that very, very seriously because he could become a very good player. Indeed, of course, guys, he could do. Let me just read some of your comments. I hope you're all doing well, guys. Hope everything is blessed with the community. I hope everything is good with you guys. Absolutely. Good up, Sam. What's going on, my friend? Big up yourself. Hope you're well. Big up, Roy. Hope you're well, my friend. Big up, Arman. Hope you're well, mate. Hope everything. Did you get a haircut? Day before yesterday, mate. Day before yesterday. Chidosi, morning, Sal. Happy Christmas in advance. Big up, Chidosi. How you doing, my friend? And you too, my friend. Thank you so much. Big up, Max. What's going on? Hey, big up, Sal. Big up, Max. Good to see you, mate. Big up, Kenny, the legend. What's going on, mate? Good morning. Hope you're well. Of course, big up, Chidosi. Cheap or not, we need Premier League experience. We do. It's true. Love the haircut, Sal. Max, thank you so much, my guy. Really appreciate you. Nice to get a compliment early in the morning, guys. I'm flying out to the early hours of the morning in UAE, guys. I'm back in Italy. Tomorrow, I'll be in Italy, guys. Believe it or not. But I'm doing streams all day today. I'm doing streams. Good morning, Jamie. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sal. Your T-shirt is very attractive. Thank you so much, my friends. Thank you so much, Stefan. Really appreciate you, my guy. Kenny, we have plenty of number 10s to be honest. Midfield is the main priority. Again, this is a very, very intelligent comment from Kenny because this is true. Man United do need midfield. Before anything else, before anything else, Man United need to fix that midfield. That is a priority for Man United, whether it's Carlos Baleba, Anton Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Lamine Kamara, Lucien Agume, whoever it is, Man United need to fix that midfield. They need to solidify that midfield. Then they can work on the cherry on the icing on the cake, if you know what I mean. That's what we need to do, to be honest with you. Absolutely. Big up, Noah. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Rest of chat. Big up your legend. Good to see you, brother. Hope everything is well. Noah, good to see you. Vino, good to see you. Good morning, bro. How you doing, brother? Hope you're well, of course. Good morning, everyone, and the rest of chat. I hope you're having a great, wonderful day. You're a very nice guy. Thank you so much, mate. Enjoying the elements, of course. Sergio Ramos fake paper tool, all sponsored KFC sauces. KFC with a touch of barbecue sauce. With a touch of barbecue sauce, Kenny. Absolutely. Look, Man United not going to sign a 39-year-old. And you know what? I always like to bring up on this channel, I like to bring up, rumors that are right out there. Yesterday, the rumor, of course, was the young Arsenal player, of course, who Arsenal are not going to sell to Manchester United, of course, guys. Absolutely not. Nwaneri, of course, guys. They're not going to sign Nwaneri to Man United. He's one of their best up-and-coming players. And these circulation of rumors are coming out. Look, I'm not saying it's in the realms of possibility. I'm not saying that Man United are not interested in him. Man United might be interested in him, but they know that it's not a realistic proposition to bring in Nwaneri to Manchester United, because it isn't. Because I can't see why Nwaneri would leave Arsenal to come to Manchester United. Of course, bigger club. I know. But at the moment, Man United are not where we need to be. Arsenal are doing very well, and of course, playing some of the best football. Not playing the best football, I wouldn't say, but results are some of the best in Europe at the moment, and they are probably the Champions League favourites at the moment, if we're being honest. I don't like saying that, but the level of quality in the Champions League is very low. Let me just say that before I bleed gun on my back. Let me just say that the quality of the Champions League is very, very low. So at the end of the day, there's not much competition there anyway. And when you look at Real Madrid, they're not doing it. You look at PSG, they're not as good as last season. You look at obviously all the other teams who traditionally have done well. They're not really up there, if you're being totally honest. In fact, it's actually teams like Atalanta and teams like that are the ones who are doing better. Big up Noah and Sal. Right now, we need to bring in a new midfielder this January. Absolutely. And a new striker for next season. I think we need a backup striker. No, if I'm being honest, I think we need to trust Sesko. Sesko is good enough. Trust me, he'll be all right. We have to believe in him. We can talk about Cunha's performance. He hasn't been improving since ever he came to Man United this season. He has actually. You're just looking at goals and assists. He's actually pushed Man United forward. He has actually improved Man United this season immensely. And he is better. His stats are better than Semenyo's. So we could say that. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So what I would say is that, yes, he has improved Man United. Don't just look at the simpleton thing in regards to assists and goals, because it's not just about that. Cunha actually brings that team forward. He actually presses well for Man United, and he's actually better, you know what I mean, in regards to what we had before. And he's actually, last season, had better stats than Semenyo. So at the end of the day, I think Cunha's done well, and we think we need to show him some time and some appreciation. And at the end of the day, guys, absolutely. And we need to trust the players and stop being so reactionary, Noah. This is what it is. Because when you reaction, you're part of the new school generation Mandem crew, right? So when you're reactionary, you just say, we need a new striker. What about Sesko? Sesko, give him a bloody chance, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And new striker will come in, he'll do the same. We need another new striker, and we have to be calm. Calm is personified, because before you were born, Noah, in 1989, right, I was supporting Man United, and I know about patience, and I know what's going on. And I've seen 13 titles, Noah. 13, right? 13. So I think I have an idea of what we need to do as a football club before we start throwing, we need this, we need that, we need that. What we need is a midfield. We don't need anything else. We need a midfield. And yes, we need some wing backs. That's what we need. We don't need anything else. We don't need another striker. I'm going to be honest. We don't need another striker. We don't need a Semenyo. We don't. If he's going to play number 10. As I said earlier in the show, I will bring in a Semenyo if he's going to play wing. And that's it. At the end of the day, Cunha just needs another goal for his confidence. Cunha's doing well. People are very simplistic and simpleton in regards to opinions. People have this very simple-minded opinion about football, where goals, assists, and it's part of the stats generation, isn't it? It's the stat generation, the generation where we just look at numbers. we don't look at overall impact. It's a bit like the Bruno Fernandes situation. The Bruno Fernandes, Benny, big up Benny, by the way. The Bruno Fernandes situation, like, he just has stats and that, but overall impact on the team, it's not good. The balance of the team, he affects the balance. He's ill-disciplined in midfield and things like that. And this is what we're talking about, guys. You know, we're talking about, you know, overall impact in the football team. And this is where you get to complicated conversations, because we can have the man-dem opinion on the other man-dem channels where they have the man-dem minions and they talk about the man-dem opinions and about stats and goals and assists and XGs and stuff like that. We could do that, but they only want to do that when it suits them. For example, Man United are first in big chances created. We scored the third amount of goals in the Premier League, by the way. All right, okay, third behind Man City and Arsenal, only 2 behind Arsenal, by the way. Guys, so this is what we're talking about. We can bring in the XGs if you want me. I can bring in the stats if you want. But overall impact in regards to the football team is the most important thing. New players will take a few weeks to settle into the club, give them a chance. Absolutely. Benny, you speak my language. Benny, you're absolutely correct, mate. Absolutely. Sal, is it a good time to introduce academy players to the squad? Not a good time, mate. Absolutely not. Right now, we have to be very, very cautious about the way we bring in young players. What I would do, however, I would look at the FA Cup and bring in through a couple of these youngsters, including JJ Gabriel, who will be eligible to play in the FA Cup. Of course, he's not eligible to play in the Premier League. There are a couple of players I would like to see given a chance, maybe 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, maybe Shea Lacey, who's currently in the squad right now, hopefully against Bournemouth. Man United are doing very well. We're 3-0 up, and we can bring on Shea Lacey, something like that, if you know what I mean. And I think that would be fantastic, in my opinion. I think if we brought in Shea Lacey, it would be great, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But one thing I would urge every single person, everyone in regards to Man United fans, is to be a little bit more patient on the new players. Now, look, I do look at things, and I do have a little bit of patience. I can see improvements for Man United. There's lots of improvements going on at Man United that people just choose to ignore because, as I told you, the man-dem opinion, isn't it? It's people don't want to see it because they have a narrative about the manager or a narrative about what's going on in the football club. Things are improving. Statistically, factually, things are improving. And, people just want to bring downers onto everything, and they want the world to burn, so to speak, because if it doesn't fit their narrative, that's what they want at the end of the day. They want the world to burn, of course. If Cunha was scoring goals and Brian and Bremo wasn't, it would be in Bremo isn't doing well. Give the players some time to settle in. But you know what, Benny? They're both actually making a very big impact on the football team. Statistically, Benny, we're actually making a big impact. And this is what people don't quite understand. When you look at Eric Cantona, Benny, when you look at, you know as well as I do, you look at great players who play for this football club, right? You look at Paul Scholes and that. Not necessarily they had the most goals. Not necessarily they had the most assists. But what did they have? Impact in the team. Impact in the team. That's exactly what they had. They had impact, right, in the whole team. Like, Paul Scholes' pass from that side to that side of the pitch doesn't get picked up by the stats, does it? So at the end of the day, this is what we're talking about. It's not just about goals and assists. It's about overall impact. And yes, they will get better and goals and assists will come. But Bremo's done very well. And as you said there, if Bremo not scoring, Cunha is actually pressing very well. He's actually doing quite well, in my opinion. I've seen him do some great things. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, But even when you look at Eric Cantona and you look at players like that, their statistics were not at the top of the Premier League, top 5, top 10, but not at the top. But I bet your bottom dollar that they were more impactful than all of those players above them. Do you know what I mean? So I look at things like that, and you have to look at things very maturely, not just stats and numbers. For example, if you know what I mean, at the end of the day. Man United never had players who used to score 30, 40 goals a season apart from Cristiano Ronaldo. And we're talking about legends who used to play for the football club. We're talking about Andy Cole, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Dwight York. We had 20 goals here, 20 goals there. But they were actually the best strikers in Europe, probably. It's not, as I said, it's not just about numbers. It's about overall impact. You know what I mean? Big up, LT. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're well. Good to see you, my bro. I hope everything is good. We've been in so much of a decline, especially in the last 3 years, that fans can't see why we have improved. We've actually improved immensely as well. And the stats show that our metrics are better than the last 3 years. Better. We're one of the best in the Premier League. Now, I don't want to bring it up again, guys, but I have got it saved. I have got it saved about the Man United improvements, right? So if we want to talk about Man United improvements, guys. Let me just bring this in for you. Now, I'm going to read it out here. So, goals scored, we are third behind Arsenal and, Man City. 2 off top. XG generated, we're second. Total shots per game, we're first. Total shots per season, this season so far, we're first. Big chances created, we're third, thanks to Cunha and Embremo, by the way. And big chance missed, we're first. Now, if we fix our missed chances, we're first in missed chances missed, okay? We haven't had a striker all season. Sesko's been injured. So if we fix that by 20%, if we fix our defensive side by 20, 30%, and let's not forget that we're also playing a makeshift defense because we've got injuries as well, right? Licha and De Ligt have been injured. So at the end of the day, if we fix our defense by 30% or fix our strike force by 30%, Man United are going to move right up that table significantly. You know what I mean? This is no man-dem talk, guys. This is what we're talking about factually, right? So if people, like, the problem is that people want to bring in a downer on every single thing. They just want the world to burn. Like I said, they want the world to burn. They don't want anything positive coming out of Man United because their narrative is they want Ruben Amorim sacked. And that is their narrative at the end of the day. And we don't. We want him to succeed, of course. Big up my goat as Cancer. It's one of my goats as well. Big up, Max. Hope you're well. We got Brighton in the FA Cup round. Yes, I know Chidoso. Yeah, that was last week, my guy. If Cunha had played against Everton, we would have won that game. Exactly, Benny. Overall impact is what people are not quite grasping in their head, right? Because this is why the new generation of footballers is not as good as the old generation. They don't understand originality. They don't understand football like to the level that we used to understand football, right? They don't understand football like we used to understand football. That's why talent has regressed. Where everyone was raised on FIFA. They were raised on FIFA. They're raised on FIFA and they're raised on computer games. That's what they were raised on. And I can see that from my nephews and stuff like that. Back when I was younger, we used to get a football, go home, pick up the football and go out and play football. These days, they go home, pick up the PlayStation and play FIFA. That's the difference, right? So they live on that FIFA generation, which is all computerized stuff. We live on reality. We live on what we, what is going on at the football club as a whole, as what's going on, what he's doing on the pitch, how he's pressing the ball, how he's running, how he's fit, and this and that, and how he's changing the game. And that's what we look at the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. Sal, I agree about that. We need to be patient about these players to improve the performance. It needs time. The performance is improved, mate. And this is the thing you're looking at because you were Ruben Amorim out, and I remember you, Noah. The performance has improved, right? I've just said the stats right there, okay? So at the end of the day, we are third in the league, basically, on every stat that matters. Behind Arsenal and Man City, who are ahead. And we are literally, Ruben Amorim is literally, guys, not even a year into his tenure. Not even a year into his tenure. And we are there where we are in the top 3 of the league, top 5 overall of the league. It's mad, isn't it? Vino, maybe Sal's is just telling some truths there, right? Guys, Vino, if we get an outstanding and a number 8 in January, a standing midfielder number 8 in January, who would you drop into to bench? Cunha, Cunha. None of them, mate. At the end of the day, Bruno, probably. If we get an astounding midfielder, if we get a couple of midfielders in, then I would like Bruno to be dropped. Yeah, I would like Bruno to be dropped. And he can rotate with Embremo, maybe, at the end of the day. I do believe that Bruno will be sold. I don't think Man United are going to sign 2 midfielders this season. I think Man United, the most Man United would do is probably bring in 1 midfielder and he can work as obviously rotate with Casemiro. Bruno won't be moved this season. The only way that Bruno is going to be moved is in the summer. And once Bruno leaves, then Man United will have two midfielders to bring in. So that means that obviously those 2 midfielders will replace Bruno. Big up, Tyrell. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Big up, your legend. Hope everything is blessed. Absolutely. Guys, big up everyone. Big up everyone in the stream. Good morning, Tyrell. Hope all is well. Big up everyone, guys. All the legends. Big up yourselves. Ephraim, Sal, some of our fans are Player FC. They do not care about the club. Absolutely. I agree with that. LT, It's simple. We're scoring more goals, creating more chances, but see too many goals and don't have a midfield that can control games and defend it. It's just a box also control, but it's still up there, mate. And that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Normal lad, what's going on, my friend? Long time no see. We should be second in the league. We should be, mate. We should be. Thanks to Ruben Amorim for improving the team. You know, now it's not his fault that we have a makeshift defense. We have injuries, De Ligt and Alicia Martinez. We also don't have really a midfield. We also had a 4 out of 10 window from Niños and the Glazers. It was a 4 out of 10 window. Let's be honest, guys. The window was crap. They didn't finish the job. Right? Yes, they brought in a couple of brilliant attacking players. They brought in Sesko. They brought in a goalkeeper last minute, right? And if they brought him in earlier, we probably wouldn't have lost to Arsenal. Probably have more points. But they didn't finish the job. And at the moment, just like Cristiano Ronaldo said, who is the GOAT in my opinion, people are expecting miracles from Ruben Amorim. Now, the biggest concern for me is that we beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 4-1, right? Last week. And people were saying we shouldn't have conceded a goal. That is the mentality of these people, how sinister these people are. We shouldn't have conceded a goal. That was the narrative, right? We shouldn't have conceded a goal. And then the other narrative was we should have brought in Shea Lacey, the young lad. We should have brought in Shea Lacey. None of these guys have probably seen Shea Lacey play in their lives, but it was, we should have brought in Shea Lacey. That is where we're going with this. We're on a road to nowhere. You can't win. At this moment in time, we could win 10 games in a row. They will still say, no, I don't like the way he did this. I don't like the way he did that. Ruben Amorim is this. Ruben Amorim is that. That's what it is at the end of the day. Mark, most youngsters, I mean, anyone under 28 raised on the internet and pundit football, they are told who is the best players rather than figuring out for themselves exactly. This is why I figure out I don't follow the crowd in regards to get him out of my football club. He's a fraud. I don't follow that. I know if I have followed that, because at the end of the day, the reason Man United are not succeeding is precisely because of that. Get him out of my football club. He's a fraud, and not being patient and not waiting. You know what I mean? And this is exactly what I said under Ten Hag, exactly what I'm going to say under Ruben Amorim. This is, at the end of the day, we have a good manager. We are improving. We're top 3 in every single statistic that people want to throw at me. We're top 3, right? And he's only bloody 11 months into the realm, right? We're our goal scoring. I mean, Man United right now, let's forget about the defense, because we know that the defense is injured. We know that we got a makeshift defense. But to have Man United going for a minus goal difference, right, to being the 3rd top scorers in the Premier League, I think is absolutely phenomenal. We couldn't buy a goal before. We couldn't buy a goal before. Let's be real. We couldn't buy a goal. We were 1-0 down. We couldn't fight. We're going to lose the game. Might as well pack up and go home. And that's what it was. You know what I mean? Normal lad, we can't have any complacency. We can't, normal lad. Absolutely not. We can't have any complacency, my guy. We can't, because, you know, there's a lot of work to do. But complacency comes with the mentality and the culture at the football club. You're absolutely spot on with complacency, right? Complacency comes from what has been there for years. We have been complacent. And why are we being complacent? Because we seem to struggle against small clubs. We do well against Arsenals and Cities, and we've beaten all these teams. Liverpool's away, City's away, Arsenal away. We've beaten all these teams. It's not that which is the problem. It's the Wolves, the Bournemouth, the Spurs, you know, the Newcastle to an extent, you know, that we struggle with. That is complacency. That means that you're not looking at those games the way you're looking at Arsenal and Liverpool and City. You're looking at those games as like, you know what I mean? The cameras are not on me, and and that's what the way it is at the end of the day. The standards got to matter. The standards are getting higher, mate. At the end of the day, standards is a man-dem opinion. I've seen 13 titles, normal lad. 13, more than all of those man-dem that have been talking about standards. They wouldn't know standards if it slapped them in the face with a salmon. At the end of the day, standards, third goal scorers, first in big chances created. At the end of the day, things are getting better, and standards do matter. But a lot of people, maybe yourself as well, normal lad, have not seen standards. The difference between me and other people, I've seen standards. I sat there at a new camp in 98, 99, right? I was there, remembering it, not a guy in diapers. I actually was there. And this is what I know what standards are. I've seen 13 titles, as I said at the beginning of the time. I've seen 13 titles. So it shouldn't be me who'd be screaming for the rooftop Standards. Standards. That's what they talk about, standards. But they never witnessed standards. They don't know what standards. They also don't know how Man United came to standards. They also don't know how Man United elevated themselves to get to standards. They don't know that. And they forget about this part. And they don't want to be patient enough to get to standards. You don't just get from there to standards. You don't just go there, standards, at the end of the day. We've lost 4 games this season. Arsenal lost 2. Right? So at the end of the day, the season is unpredictable. But what we have to see is that progress. And if we keep progressing, we will never reach the standards of Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson was a different level. I won't say never, but at the end of the day, the Premier League is different now. It's not as good. And everyone could beat everyone. And I think that Man United standards should be challenging for the league eventually. But you have to have an element of a gap there to get to standards, right? Especially when Man United were a derelict team over the last years before Ruben Amorim, and everything has been going absolutely a mess over the last 12 years. Ruben Amorim is trying to fix the culture at the football club. And that's what he's doing right now. Statistically, we're doing that. And then once you fix the culture, and once your goals go up, once you start winning more games, once things start getting better, then you can start focusing on, standards and dominance. And that's what you need to do. You don't just go from there to there. Unfortunately, people want instantaneous success. Right? They want it like this to this straight away. We're not Chelsea, we're not Man City, we're not Arsenal. It takes time, and Arsenal took time, didn't they? And they're not won anything yet. And this is what we're talking about. You need to have a little bit of patience. Stop throwing the manager under the bus. Stop blaming things because they fit a narrative. And that is what we need to do. Benny, stats don't lie. So imagine when Amorim gets 4 or 5 of his own players. I said it before, Amorim, he has been working miracles this season with these players. Absolutely. And this is exactly, it's just fine margins at the end of the day, isn't it? It's fine margins. And that's what we're talking about at the end of the day. Look, if he got 4 or 5 more of the players that he should have had in the summer, Benny, by the way, Man United would probably be challenging for the league. I'm telling you right now, guys, only the hateful people will say no. Because when you're looking at the league now, we 8 points from top? Of 8 points or something like that, you know what I mean? And then we lost an 8-point lead back in 2012 to Man City with a month to go. You know what I mean? 8 points is nothing. So when we're talking about that, we're talking about, you know what, if he got the players that he should have had, if he had his midfield fixed, if he had, the wing backs and maybe a goalkeeper brought in earlier, we would be higher up the table at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. I think Bruno will never leave to us. We'll retire at United. That's what you say, mate. I don't know. He might leave if he doesn't play. We have to move on at the end of the day. We can't have any sentiments in regards to these players. The transfer window makes sense why we found out that the club is now officially $1 billion in debt. We've always been in debt, Mark. When did you find that out, mate? Welcome to Manchester United. We've been $1 billion in debt in 12 years, mate. Thanks to the Glazers. And Ineos, by the way, for facilitating them, Mark. Well done. Big up, Mark. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. To Mark, number 2. Big up, Sal. Hope you're well, bro. I'll be watching the Bournemouth game from South Africa. Big up, my guy. They have lost 2 and drawn 2 of their last 4. Let's make a third loss in 5. Come on, Mark. Love, my brother. Absolutely. That's what we have. We have to look forward to, of course, guys. I'll be doing a watch-along. I'll be in Italy to do that watch-along, of course, guys. So don't forget to join me there. That'd be absolutely fantastic to see you. Absolute legends there. Big up, Mark. I love the positivity, my guy. I really appreciate you, my friend. Absolutely. Jamie, I want to talk Kobe. Okay. Amorim destroying our youth. Fact is, he's not better than Bruno or Cas. We need results, and he would be playing if he had more games. Toxic fans are irritating. Jamie, you make a good point. Jamie, you're absolutely spot on in regards to Kobe Mainoo. Look, Kobe Mainoo's had opportunities at Man United, right? And the fact is every time he's had that opportunity, and we have to ask ourselves properly, objectively and subjectively, we have to ask ourselves, has he taken that opportunity? We have to argue no. So when he comes on the pitch, Man United decline. He came on the pitch against Brentford. He gave away a goal. The last good performance from Kobe was against Lyon last season. And we have to look at that properly. Now, there was obviously the rumors about the contract situation, 200 grand a week and stuff like that. We have to put that into the account. Of course, I do believe that he would do well if he had a number of games and he needs to come into the team and have a few games to settle down. But attitude is very important. Attitude is very, very important. And implementation and professionalism is very important. Now, I've spoken about it a number of times this week about things that have gone on behind the scenes that not many people want to listen to and they don't want to hear it anyway. So there's no point me talking about it, what happened behind the scenes. There's no point me even mentioning it because it is unprofessional. But at the end of the day, you have to earn your corner at Man United. You have to earn yourself at Man United. You have to do that. Do I think Bruno should be dropped? Yes, I do think Bruno should be dropped. Do I think Mainoo's good enough? Probably not at the moment good enough. Probably Man United need better. This is why we're looking at loads of midfielders around Europe, isn't it? We're looking at midfielders around the world because of this. Precisely because of this. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Obviously, Ruben Amorim is a very smart guy and has proven to work with youngsters, has proven with Giovanni Quenda, with Ignacio, with Diomande, with Hoyman, with Jokeres, that he builds young teams. He builds young players. He brought a player from Coventry City and made him one of the top scorers, golden boot in Europe. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So this is what we're talking about. So if he says that he doesn't believe in Kobbie Mainoo, he doesn't believe in Kobbie Mainoo because there's obviously a reason why he doesn't believe in Kobbie Mainoo. All right, at the end of the day. Big up, Jamie. Hope you're well, of course. Big up, Donovan. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Sal, we need to sign in January. Absolutely. If we don't, we're in trouble trying for top four. I think the biggest worry for me, Kevin, absolutely. The biggest worry for me is the AFCON. We're going to lose more players in the AFCON as well. So things won't be even as good as that. You know what I mean? Things will get worse in regards to the squad and stuff like that. So it is a little bit worrying. Okay, absolutely. Are you saying that Kobbie may have missed minutes because Amorim is in survival mode? No. Kobbie has missed minutes because of himself, because he doesn't perform for Man United, because he wanted a new contract and his performance is down-tooled and he said some things in training. That's why he's not playing, mate. And that's it at the end of the day, as much as he should be. Why do you think he came on the pitch the other day and run like a headless chicken? Because he's trying to make up. He knows he's done wrong, man. Big up. Since Sunderland game, we've scored an average of 2 goals a game. And what me and Sal are talking about is that we need to start beating average to the bottom clubs consistently to expected up. And it starts with Bournemouth. We've lost 3-0 to Bournemouth over the last 3 years, a couple of times over the last few years. So this game is a very, very, how would I say, a perfect opportunity for Man United to change the narrative. A very good opportunity for Man United to say, things are changing. They already are. We beat Liverpool away. We beat Crystal Palace away, which we haven't done in years. We didn't beat Crystal Palace away since 2020. We didn't beat Liverpool away since 2016. Brighton, we always struggle against. We easily beat them at Old Trafford. We beat Sunderland, who are up there in the league. Of course, we still got the odd hiccup. That's going to be expected in top-level football at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. What do you think the score against Bournemouth? I'll be doing my match preview later on, Arman. I'll give you it then. Thank you so much, Arman. Thank you for the compliments. Big up yourself. Hope everything is well with you. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you. Yes, Bournemouth getting Man United on Monday. Yes, Bournemouth is getting Man U'd on Monday. Big up, my friend. I hope so, my friend. Really hope so. Big up. Good morning, Dan. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We have a manager that is new to the toughest league in Europe, and he is adapting strongly, turning an average Man United team and putting it back to where it belongs. He would do it. And statistically, Dan, it backs up your theory. It backs everything up. What you're saying is backing everything up. Standards. Like I said on the last show, standards. Man United are raising their standards. And only the people who have a narrative, who worship their ego rather than supporting their football club will say otherwise. You know, and that's what it is, guys. That's why people make fun of them. Benny, I would trust Amorim. It's Ineos and Glazers I don't trust. Absolutely. It's time for the latter to step up and get back to where we should be. It's a very important month, Benny, because obviously this, I already know where Ineos stand. I think they're more concentrated on business rather than Man United. I think that January represents a huge opportunity for Man United because realistically, we could be up there touching distance to the top 4, right? Or we might even be in the top 4. Right, or top 3. This is the time to back Ruben Amorim. This is the time to say, okay, we'll take the baton now and we're going to go forward and go clear in regards to that top 4. Now, the problem that I have in regards to Ineos and the Glazers is that I think that they're going to say, we're in the top 4. We don't need any improvement. Nothing needs to be improved. We're doing well as we are. And that is the thing that I worry about the most. That's the thing that I worry about the most, is that we're doing well as we are. You know what I mean? And we're okay where we are. That is the thing. Now, I want to see them say, okay, now, how do we move clear of this top four? How do we solidify this top four? How do we stay in the top four? And how do we move up? And then if we get in the top four this season, we get Champions League football, we bring in the players, we'll attract more players, we'll have more money, and then obviously we can progress and challenge for the league. This is why I said, look, it's closer than we think, but it is up to the guys in charge to make it happen, and they need to make it happen. Anderson, right, is wanted by Man City. Man City are doing the groundwork. Man United need to do the groundwork in regards to Anderson. It's quite obvious that Anderson is a generational. Man United need to do the groundwork in regards to Anderson. Man United need to work on Adam Wharton. They need to try and get these players in the club. You know what I mean? People think that Kobe doesn't take his chance of performance, but when you're playing big parts, progress won't improve. As Fergie said, you're playing young talent who won't allow them to develop, but it also depends on your attitude as well. I think you're selective listening, Mark. It depends on your attitude as well, mate. It depends on your attitude. Sir Alex Ferguson also said that. You know, so at the end of the day, if your attitude isn't right, if you want a contract at 200 grand a week last season, if you didn't play well last season and you're not playing well, and you did have consistent amount of games last season and you didn't play well, that's down on you. Don't blame anyone else. When you come on that pitch, they also say, make something happen, whether it's a tackle, a goal, an assist, a clearance off the line, make something happen. He doesn't make that. All he makes happen is decline. That's what he's doing. And we have to look at that, of course. Mainly needs to look at himself, exactly, and ask himself, I'll do an effort I can to get in. Maybe talk to the manager. Ask him what I need to do, get in. Exactly. Rather than going to the media and say, I need a new contract last season, which he done. You know, I hope he succeeds. But it is down to him. I've come from a generation of winners. As I said, 13 titles. There's been players who come through who have been talented, who haven't made it. And Alex Ferguson, young players who haven't made it. You remember Ravel Morrison? He didn't get a consistent amount of games, but he didn't make it because of his attitude, not because he didn't get a consistent amount of games. Who got a consistent run of games? Who? When they were coming through the class of 92, who got consistent? Did Philip Neville? Did Philip Neville get a consistent run of games? Did he? No. But when he came, he played. Did Nicky Butt get a consistent run of games? No. But did Nicky Butt perform? Oh, yes, he performed when he came on that pitch. He played. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer get a consistent run of games? No, he didn't. But did he perform? You don't need me to tell you, do you? At the end of that, and that's what we're talking about here. Stop blaming this. We come from a blame culture, a blame generation. Let's blame everything. Let's blame. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what it is. Right? Let's look at themselves in the mirror and say, have I done enough? Have I done enough? Am I moving things forward? It's not sentiment, Sal, with Bruno like CR7, who do you bring in can replace the goals and assists of Bruno with what amount of money? I don't get why selling Bruno is any good. No, because you don't get football, Vino. It's not just about stats and goals, mate. It's not about that overall impact. CR7 had overall impact. His overall impact contributes to Man United being Bagel FC in the midfield. He's ill-disciplined in his positions. Maybe if Man United removed Bruno, Man United as a collective would be better. That's what this new generation don't understand. They don't understand that collectively, if Bruno's moved from the team, the balance of the team would be better, which contributes to winning more games. That's the difference, my guy, respectively, right? As someone who works in football, that's the difference. And that's what you have to remember. LT. Ben Jacobs explained why Kobe isn't being picked at the moment and what is expected of him, and that he's detailed an explanation and made me understand. I already said it, mate. I already know more than him in regards to buying Kobe. He will be gone in January and will be flourished at another team, sadly. How do you know that? But I hope he says he wasn't good enough. I hope no one will say he wasn't good enough when he was praising him 18 months ago. It doesn't matter what he did 18 months ago, Mark. It matters what he does now. Who cares? You perform every single season at Man United. Every single week, week in, week out. If you lower your standards, which you did, then you get dropped. That's it. You have to hold that. At the end of the day, big up. Think Xerxes will stay. Absolutely. Maybe. I don't know. We do need him, of course. We'll be watching the game in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Big up, Dean Conte. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for your generosity, my guy. Really appreciate the super chat. Really do. Thank you so much. You're an absolute legend, mate. And I hope you have a good time. And I hope you enjoy the game, my friend. I hope you enjoy the game. God forbid Casemiro and Bruno get injured, or we are real, brother. Absolutely, because this squad is paper thin. Absolutely. Big up. Thank you so much. Big up, mate. Preach cooking. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be honest, I back the manager, but at times I gritted teeth when I see him would stay at. I mean, listen, grit your teeth and go somewhere else, mate. At the end of the day, a lot of talk about Mainu's agent have been the problem. Maybe Mainu isn't taking the right advice. Exactly. Thank you. No doubt about it. But he can't do wrong, can he? Ability, maybe an attitude change or agent. Thank you. There you go, guys. What was the thing? I mean, how can you support Man United through gritted teeth? I support Ruben Amorim through gritted teeth. I don't want Man United to win. I don't want Man United to win. I don't want him. I want to win. I don't like Ruben Amorim. No, come on, man. Get out of here, man. Kenyon. Big up, Kenyon. How you doing? Why not catch on him barely before we sell? Discount like Rashford and the Garbacho. We lost a lot of cheese on the two because of drama they had with Amorim. We lost a lot of cheese because of themselves, not because of drama, because of Amorim. We lost a lot of cheese because of them, because they had the attitude problem before Ruben Amorim walked into this football club. Don't be bringing Ruben Amorim into that same conversation. It was Garnacho, it was Rashford who decided to go to New York to watch a boxing match, right? It wasn't him. It was Garnacho who decided to go to ESPN SC and talk about not playing football and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Kobe will be a better player in the midfield three where his lack of pace is noticed. Yeah, well, that's his problem then. Great players playing any formation, Donin. That's it. Cristiano Ronaldo play left, right, midfield, up front. Great players playing that. I don't care about facilitating players because they can't play in a midfield two. You can't play in a midfield two as a midfielder. Who the hell are you? Come on. Have you heard of Paul Scholes and Roy Keane? Have you ever seen them play? They played in the midfield two, sometimes in the midfield one. You know what I mean? Standards, guys. We want to talk about standards. That's exactly what they sell. Some people make Mainu like a prime Zidane. He is a good player, but when he is on the pitch, he has to take his chance. Factually, guys. Absolute factually. Kobe and the Garnacho money should go into a January signings. I hope so, mate. I really do hope so, of course. Absolutely. Bruno in a Portugal shirt is awesome to watch, Sal. That means supporting cast. You won't sell it any. Bruno in a Portuguese shirt has got players around him and the midfield around him to contribute to his downfalls, mate. At the end of the day, Bruno's a stat merchant, mate. And this play FC doesn't work, mate. You know what I mean? I would replace him with Anderson. I replace him with Wharton. I replace him with Baleba. I replace at a heartbeat. At a heartbeat. Because as a whole, it would improve Man United. I like Bruno. I know Bruno's brother. People know that about me. I don't have this play FC. We need to replace him. Play centre-back sometimes for United. Exactly there, Benny. You know, did they complain about, I need to play in the midfield 3, or I need to play in the midfield 2, I need to do this, I need that? No, they didn't complain about that, did they? Ask Roy Keane what he thinks about that. He will tell you absolute nonsense. Absolutely. The player FC culture has created this weak mentality in the club. Exactly, man. Not supporting our manager instead of supporting the manager's decision. And that gives players down tooling power. Exactly that. Exactly. I don't see clubs selling to KDB or Silva to achieve nothing. Well, they did get rid of KDB, didn't they, Man City, didn't they? They got rid of KDB and at the age that Bruno is. But what's the difference between KDB and Bruno? KDB didn't contribute to Man United coming 15th. Who was the captain of the ship when Man United came 15th? Who was it? It was Bruno Fernandes. Who do you blame when someone sinks a ship? The captain. And that's what you do. So at the end of the day, you've got to look at things in a much more complicated, objective way. This is why I have this platform and I talk to legends, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't just look at football and A, B, C, I kick ball in goal, yeah, goal. It's not like that. You have to look at things from above, look at the balance of the team, the ill discipline in midfield, the reason why Ugarte, the reason why Casemiro struggles sometimes, it's because the ill discipline in midfield at the end of the day, you know? And that's what it is. And it's the reason why Portugal won't win the World Cup. Absolutely. But that's what we have to do. We have to stop this thing. We have to look at things and have a conversation, but not but because Bruno this, but because Bruno that, but because Bruno this, but because Bruno that. No, Bruno needs to be sold. He's 31 years old, for crying out loud, you know? Exactly. Bruno is playing midfield because Ineos failed to give Amram his midfielder. Exactly. And Bruno is not good in midfield. And that is a fact. Bruno's even ill-disciplined as a number 10, Dan. You know? And why are Man United holding on to 30-year-olds? Why are we so infatuated? This is the mentality. You want to talk about standards. Why are we so obsessed with players that have failed? He's a great player at Man United. Probably the best player Man United has signed post Sir Alex Ferguson. But come on, guys. It's time to move on. Relax. He's 31. Relax. You got to move on from these things. You got to stop being so obsessed with players and having bloody knocking one out to Bruno posters. Stop it. Just bloody look at Man United as Man United. Like I do, like the community do. Man United is the most important thing. Man United. Not this player this player that. He's my favourite player. Mainu Bruno. No, Manchester United. That's what it is. Man United are progressing, and that's what's up. You know what I mean? Benny. No doubt about Bruno being quality player. Nobody is saying he's not. Exactly. He's not a CM, and he's being played there is a problem, and people only see after he's gone. Exactly. But he's at the end of the day, what do we say, Benny? What did Alex Ferguson do? When you reach over 31, what did he used to do, Benny? Sell him. What did Manchester City have sentiments about KDB? Did they? Did they have sentiments? Did they have sentiments about Luis Suarez? Did they have sentiments about Zabaleta? Absolutely not. Why do Man City continue to be successful and Man United are not? Because we keep holding on. That's what we keep doing. Holding on. He's my favourite player. Holding on. And KDB won leagues, Champions League at Man City. And for sure, he could have given Man City another 3 or 4 years. Definitely 100%. 100% he would have given Man City another 3 or 4 years. But no, time to move him on now. He's playing for Napoli in Serie A. Yeah, but they moved him on. Right? Who's going to sign Bruno right now? Be real. Who would buy Bruno right now? Who? In Europe right now, in the Europe top leagues. Right now, who would pay money for Bruno? And that's what we have to say. Now, Bruno's good. Bruno's a great personality. He's not a good captain, in my opinion. He's not a midfielder, in my opinion. And I think that Man United need to look forward at the end of the season. I'm not saying sell him in January. Yeah, I'm not saying that. We ain't got the squad. I'm saying in the summer, we need to look at moving certain players on and moving on as a football club. If we carry on looking at old chapters, we're going to carry on watching the same things every single day. You know what I mean? Even though Bruno is playing out of position, he still has the best stats, but at the detriment of the team, which you don't understand, Fun Show. You know what I mean? You don't understand. You look at things in statistics. As a whole of the team. It doesn't work with the team. Maybe Man United might be top of the league, but we're not talking about this season. We're talking about next season. What's big up, Alex? Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Too much Play FC in the strap today. LT. We should stop this centre manager with these players if you want to move forward and compete, because the most important thing is Man United and us getting back to exactly that. You see that, Fun Show? Listen. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, listen and understand. Bruno is a shirt seller. That's why they keep him. Exactly that. Thank you. Ephraim. Sal is spot on. Great players will do a job in any positions. Absolutely. Good morning, United. FTW, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream, guys. Hope you're doing well. I hope everything is blessed. It was in Donis. You need to get your facts right. It was actually Ineos who didn't want to sell him. Let me tell you that right now. Not Amram. Amram wanted a replacement. Absolutely. United TW. I agree with Bruno selling Bruno, but do people trust Ineos to replace him? Good question. Very good question. Smart question, because at the end of the day, this is what we're talking about, isn't it? Maybe Bruno needs to be sold, but are they going to get the Andersons? Are they going to get the Adam Whartons? Are they going to get the Belabers? Are they going to get Lucien Gomez and Ogumes? Are they going to bring him into the football team? This is the biggest question that we need to be asked. Of course, absolutely, United FTW is true. These questions need to be asked, and we have to obviously do that from there, of course, guys. Absolutely. So is Bruno, mate. He's falling off too, mate. So, and they get sold because they're winners. Man City are winners. Man City are run by proper people. That's why they get rid of KDB and obviously players, who play for them like Aguero and Zabaleta and people like that, who are legends at the football club, by the way, proper ones. Bruno and Ugarte should be sold as a combo deal. Big up, Kenyan. United need to do like sell Bruno. Hopefully, it could be okay at the end of the season. You make a good point there. Coutinho. Everyone was looking at Coutinho, right? Oh, look at Coutinho's stats. Liverpool could never replace Coutinho's stats. Look at his stats. What happened to Liverpool? They sold Coutinho and Liverpool elevated. They won a league. This is what we're talking about at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Stats are just stats. You shoot 25 times a season. Before you shoot if you're playing football, right, and you keep shooting that goal, you're going to score sometimes. But you might score more if you pick the right pass. Right? You know what I mean? You might win more games if you pick that pass instead of that pass, even though it doesn't contribute to your statistics and your thing. You know what I mean? Dan, Ruben came in and had to kill player power culture. He's done it and doing it. Big up, absolutely, Dan. I agree with you, my friend. I agree. Sorry, big up, Bobby. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, you legend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see the legends in the house, guys. Great conversations here, guys. Great conversations, Bobby. We're having a good conversation about Bruno Fernandes, of course, guys. Absolutely. I really do hope that, guys, at the moment, we're talking about in the long term. So we're talking about Bruno needs to be sold in the summer. Yes, he does. He's 30 years old, 31. If Man United can make money for Bruno in the summer, sell him, right? If Man United can make money in the summer, sell him. I say it again, because Man United need to move forward. This player is not going to elevate us to the level where, right? He's not going to get us Champions League next season. We can have him, right? If you want to keep him, but he can't play every single game. He has to be on the bench. He has to be, because Man United need to look forward. We don't have any control in games because we have Bruno midfield. That's why we don't control games. That's why sometimes we lose. We can't beat West Ham. Sometimes we can't beat a 10-man Everton. That's why. This is why you need a midfield. You need that midfield built. And how are we going to rebuild that midfield? Then stop looking at old chapters. That's what we have to do. Stop looking at old chapters and move on at the end of the day. That's what Man United need to do. And stop being so sentimental towards some players and stuff like that, guys. Absolutely. And that's what I would say. I'm saying that as a guy who's seen 13 titles. If you haven't seen 13 titles, guys, don't tell me, we should, I disagree with you and this and that at the end of the day. United to FTW. I would love Lamine Kamara, Bawadi, and left wing back in the summer, but I don't see it happening, sadly. Bawadi is a generational player. United FTW, absolutely. I would love Bawadi, and we should get him whilst we still can. Look at Turkey's doing for Man City. We have to get these players whilst they're available. And this is what we're talking about. There are so many players around Europe, yet we're infatuated and obsessed and knocking one out to Bruno, please, Bruno, please. No, that's what we got to stop this mentality, mate. We got to. There are players around Europe cooking. Why don't we go and get those players and replace it? And that's what we're talking about. No, we're not saying this season we need to get rid of Bruno now, because we're not saying that. And this is where emotion comes into it. People got to get their emotion. My dad always used to tell me, right? Sometimes you got to take your heart, right? And you got to put your heart on the shelf, right? Sometimes you got to do that, especially when it comes to football. Because sometimes you when you think with your heart, you think irrationally, right? You think irrationally. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to take your heart out, put it on the shelf and say, right, Bruno's got to go. We've got to make money for him. We've got to move on. We've got to get a younger team, more athletic team, a team that is a team that is more fitter as well. We have to do that. Liverpool want to get rid of Salah. Liverpool will get rid of Salah. Liverpool won't have any sentiments about it. They'll just get rid of him. Man United, unfortunately, we have emotion. We're too emotional. And guys, listen, I come from a generation, right? Like, I know players, I know midfielders, I know a world-class player, I know a legend when I see one, right? And at the end of the day, if we're looking at things, if Alex Ferguson was still in charge, he would have been sold. Let me tell you that right now. He would have been sold. And that's it at the end of the day. And respect to what he's done, respect to what he's achieved, respect to that. But you've got to move on. You know what I mean? You've got to move on sometimes. People thought removing Cristiano Ronaldo from Man United when we sold him, even though we shouldn't have sold him, by the way, because he was the best player in the world. We still won league titles. At the end of the day, it's not all about stats. Big up, Max. Bruno bench worse than drama. Exactly. That's why he probably will be sold. You know, absolutely. FTW, yeah, you're right. Once Ronaldo left, even though he was a top scorer, we elevated up the table. We did, but you can even take it back to when Cristiano Ronaldo first left Man United. Everyone said Man United won't win the league again. When Ronaldo left Man United in 2009. Everybody was saying that, oh, we're not going to win the league again. We won the league more time again and again. You know what I mean? And that's it. No, Cristiano Ronaldo was different, though. Cristiano Ronaldo was like, when he first left Man United, Cristiano Ronaldo was the GOAT. He was the best player in the world. Ronaldo's even in the top 20 conversation. You know what I mean? So we got to be realistic with this, all right? You know what I mean? LT, we have ball progressors in the defense, and we don't have a press resistant midfield who can control the tempo of the game. Smart, mate, and not do eager for the football over the top too often. Exactly that, LT. You're gonna have better stats when you keep doing hero balls and you keep shooting from 30 yards. You're gonna have better statistics, ain't you? You know what I mean? And that's what we're saying. Absolutely. Exactly, LT. If Ferguson was still here, we'd have Wharton and Anderson already, and Kane. I would have thought Kane would have signed years ago. Man United would have just got it done. Simple as that. Simple as that. Benny, or maybe both, actually. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I really appreciate everyone in the stream, guys. Absolutely good to see everyone. Really appreciate the conversation. It's a great conversation, of course, guys. Guys, please, I am traveling tomorrow. Early hours of the morning in UAE, 2 a.m. actually. But I am doing all my streams today. You know what I mean? He did, Bobby. I agree. He did. I am doing all my streams. I will be on Judge Mo's channel, 5 p.m. UK time, 5:15. I'll be on Judge Mo's channel. So keep your notifications on. I mean, thank you everyone who tuned in to me on Hussam's channel yesterday. Great conversations on there. Go and check it out. Drop a comment, drop a like. And also, guys, I will be here at 3 p.m., 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, 3 p.m. for the match preview of Bournemouth. The Bournemouth game preview will be earlier. So it'll be today, it will be at 3 p.m. UK, meaning earlier date, of course. So today I'm doing the match preview on Chatterboxer, of course, today. And we're going to pick the bones about the game against Bournemouth and obviously the match predictions and the lineup predictions and stuff like that. Guys, I want to appreciate everyone who carries on supporting the channel. Big up the members. Big up the legends, of course, guys. Whether you agree or not, it's nothing personal. Just let me tell you that right now. We all in the same boat, and we all want Man United to win. That's what it is. Guys, onwards and upwards. It's all about Bournemouth now. It's all about winning against Bournemouth. That is what it's all about from now on, guys. We win against Bournemouth, and we move up that table, and we solidify that top 4 position, and then we can move on, of course, guys. Guys, I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. I hope you have a great day, guys, and enjoy it, and don't stress too much. See you soon, guys. Peace.